Alright guys, what is up and welcome back to our Atlanta Braves franchise. I know I've been kind of off this for a little bit because I've been starting it up with that Cleveland Browns franchise, so go check that out if you're into it and if you want to. I do suggest it, it is pretty dope. Anyway, so here we are, 23 and 14, about a month and a half into the season. We have a 5.5 game lead in the NL East over the Mets and Nationals. They almost have the same record. We've been playing really well. Um, Besides our top two guys, which is kind of odd, Archer and Tehran, our rotation has done fairly well, especially Benuelos at the bottom of the rotation again, continuing that from last year. Our bullpen has done decent. Simmons is struggling right now. Withrow is struggling right now. Other than that, everyone is doing just fine. Vizcaino is doing really well as our closer. No blown saves yet this year. In our lineup, I mean, everyone is doing really well. Gentry has slowed down, but Swanson and Albies at the bottom are doing pretty well. Our bench is struggling. I did sign John Jay. I just wanted another outfielder, and I had an open spot, so I went ahead and signed him. So other than that, we're doing pretty well. We're taking on the Mets in New York, and Steven Matz taking on Otani. They're 18 and 20. Like I said, they're in second place in the NL East. So we're looking kind of to just bury them and really assert our dominance in the NL East is really, a nice way of putting it. But yeah, other than that, we're doing really well. I don't know as far as like a trade deadline plan. I don't really have one right now. I think everything's going fine. Our lineup is good. Um, we're not really a huge home run hitting team. Trumbo has a bunch of home runs already. Longoria has 5. But we have a bunch of guys with lots of RBIs, especially Gentry. He has a bunch of RBIs. He has 100 at bats and 19 RBIs. So that's, 20% of the time almost, he's getting an RBI when he's at the plate. Um, but yeah, Longoria has a bunch of RBIs. I planned for that, putting him in the 5 hole, because all those guys 1 through 4 are going to get on base for him. And depending on how him and Trumbo start to do towards when the season gets into the dog days. He has a 387 on base with a 466 slugging, and Trumbo has a 360 on base with a 492 slugging. So depending on how those guys start to do, I might switch them or swap them, just to create more RBI chances and more runs that are being brought in. And really the logic behind that is just putting Longoria in front of Trumbo just so he gets on base more along with these guys, and then Trumbo will slug all of them 1 through 4 in. That's the logic behind that. So anyway, that's enough talking. Let's get into this game. As far as the prospects go, there's nothing really to report besides Sean Newcomb. He's doing very, very well down in AAA. So depending on how our MLB or our big league rotation starts to do, it really depends. That could factor into a trade deadline. That could factor into him being brought up pretty soon. But other than that, that's really it. Ogando's doing pretty well actually too. Anyway, let's get into the game right now. All right, guys, welcome to Atlanta Braves baseball. We are taking on the Mets today in New York. Good NL East matchup here today, and we are taking on Steven Matz. And 7 starts, not so great of a start to the season for Matz. His strikeouts are up. His hits are up, though, as well. His walks are at a pretty good clip. But in the first inning, 2 outs. Craig Gentry on second base. Freddie Freeman hits a weak ground ball up the middle to score Gentry easily from second to make it 1-0 Braves in the first. On the mound, Shohei Ohtani. Young pitcher with great potential, I think. 7 starts. A little bit better stats than or numbers than Matt's, but still, they could be better. I'll leave it at that. They could be better. In the third here, Cespedes up at the plate, drives a ball past the diving second baseman to score the runner from second and the runner from first. Moves to third for runners on the corner here, or corners. Ohtani gets out of it, I'm pretty sure. But in the bottom of the 5th, Cespedes comes up again with bases loaded. And I don't know how we didn't get this double play. I didn't think Cespedes was really that fast to beat that ball out, but he did. And then a batter later, I think it was D'Arnaud, drives one into right field to score the runner from third. That'll bring on Ogando for the next inning, and he will set the Mets down in pretty quick order. Trumbo, though, hits a bomb. Second deck for his 7th home run of the year. He had a big day at the plate, as you'll see later. In the bottom of the 7th, Ogando still on the mound. He walks Chris Davis, and that will bring in Yimi Garcia. Great numbers with 20 innings pitched, and he will strike out Duda here with bases loaded for the second out, and then the next batter, D'Arnaud, he will strike out as well. So big clutch pitching there for Garcia. In the 9th, Jeff Walters will come on for the save. 2-0 count with 2 outs, and Trumbo hits another bomb. This one is a third deck. I mean, that was just an absolute moonshot. So, great to see there. That's exactly why I traded for Trumbo, to provide some big offensive power. Later, this is in the 10th actually. It went to the 10th since Trumbo tied it up. Evan Longoria drives the ball up the middle to score the runner from third base to make it 5-4, I'm pretty sure, and that'll bring in Hansel Robles, who gets out of the inning. This kind of will come in the bottom half of the inning for the save, or actually it might be the win. But bottom of the 11th, runners on second and third, gets a line drive into left field. Gentry catches it. There's going to be a play at the plate. Looks like a close play, and the throw is a little bit off the line, but the runner, Lagares, beats it anyway. Top half of the 12th here, runners on the corners with no outs. Inciarte hits a deep fly ball out to center field. Would have been close if it were at Turner Field with that 400-foot fence. Now bring in the runner from third to make it 5-4. And Chris Withrow comes on in the bottom half of the 12th for the win. 1-2 count with 2 outs. Weak ground ball to first base with a runner on second to end the ball game there. So as you see, doing pretty good this year. Get the win over the second place Mets, so hopefully we get some breathing room there in the NL East.